Hopping into game number 1, set number 1, season 2.
Pain, top of your screen, and Cream at the bottom, opening up with the Dark Prince. Jose Brand, one of the best players in Latin America, making his debut in CRL this season. A fantastically talented kid. And we've talked to Koji and Manu a whole bunch. They could not be higher on their expectations with Jose Brand.
Yeah, I like I said many times in the intro, I'm so excited to see what these teams have to bring to the table. A very great heads-up lightning early on from Cream. A couple shots in by that Royal Giant from Pain as a response, and that Baby Dragon will be belching on that tower.
One shot does not get another. Pain Gaming underperformed a little bit last season, made some changes, of course, adding Ren and Kava to the squad, coming over from Giants from last season. So hopefully they feel a little bit more well-rounded this time around. And of course, the addition of Carnage from Nova, who I expect that we'll see when we get into King of the Hill. A world champion. Some people question if it's a paper championship. He has a chance to prove that that's not the case here against Cream Esports to start things off.
Yeah, spending most of the time on the bench last season, now has a moment to prove himself, make a name for himself, and a great double lightning coming in. Oh, excuse me, lightning on either side. One defensive, one offensive. I was going to say, that is quite the commitment.
So here we are passing the midway point of regulation time, and it's a Royal Giant at the bridge, picked up by the bomb tower here, and will it get through? Yes, it does. So we'll see a couple of shots raged up from that Royal Giant, and that is a lot of damage here as we move towards double elixir time.
The Lumberjack rage timing that has been accompanying these Royal Giants has been so well executed by Pain. You see all those shots coming in, and that's just because of that rage, Rich.
So things pretty even as we move into our final minute of regulation. Cream a little bit behind, but not by much. And you see, of course, pushing the Royal Giant into the same lane as that Lava Hound, hoping that some of those support troops also play defense as well.
Bomb tower out of cycle, a heads-up Lumberjack, an aggressive Royal Giant to get 2 more shots in on that tower. Now is the moment that Cream needs to break through and get their damage in.
Miner to the back, and a nice tornado to activate King Tower. That'll help a lot when those miners keep coming in. Poison down here on the tower as well. Ice Wiz trying to stop everything it can, but that's going to be a lot of damage here on the right-hand lane.
Wow, we are fairly even. A very, very nice King Tower activation that's going to help down the road, but they did take quite a bit of damage using the spell elixir just to activate.
Bomb tower picks up Royal Giant aggro, nothing on tower. We are moving into sudden death overtime, and right now looks like Cream could be able to steal this tower away.
That's right. Get that lightning in and that's game. Get the lightning in and it's over. Lightning zap, whatever. Get a spell down, take the game. Come on, boys.
Royal Giant gets one shot, 2 shots, lightning in, and there you go. Pain takes the first game of CRL West.
That tower was just
underway. Pain still top of your screen. Cream at the bottom.
a lot of Royal Giants.
A lot of Royal Giants. And Ren and Kava proving already to be a valuable addition to this Pain squad. And you see again Cream choosing to go Lava Hound once more.
And 2 Lumberjacks down the left-hand lane with the guards, so you know there's another Royal Giant in play. Inferno Tower just taking that Lava Hound out, making easy work out of it. There's the zap.
There's the zap. And nothing behind that double Lumberjack play on that side. So you gotta wonder if that was maybe made an error or if they intended something different, not really predicting what was gonna happen on the right-hand lane.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe there was a slight miscommunication dropping both Lumberjacks. Instead, maybe one of them could have dropped a Royal Giant. Saving the Inferno Tower to play defense was really all they needed to stop that push.
Miner to tower getting some chip damage, and Lava Hound not going to quite get close, and it should be easy to clean up most of those puffs. And here we go, RG Lumberjack left-hand lane.
Yeah, there's the synergy they're looking for. Lumberjack goes down, RG will get 1, 2, 3 shots in. There we go.
And that's a lot of early damage here, down to 1681 on the left-hand side. And Cream trying to do some work on their own on the left, but I don't know if we're going to get much value out of that Mega Minion here. Nicely picked up with the Cycled Ice Spear.
Yeah, those, if you can play efficient defense with those 1 elixir cards, Skeletons, Ice Spirit, or 2 elixir cards, it's just such a great elixir trade.
And looks like Pain just has a rhythm. We're going to go Lumberjack, Royal Giant very aggressively over and over. And Bomb Tower should be down here in a moment. We're going to get at least one Royal Giant shot. Not going to get a second, though. And now we have a pretty big push coming down left-hand side.
Yeah, Cream switching up their strategy, recognizing that, okay, if you guys are going to keep pushing into the left-hand lane, I'll meet you with my Lava Hound. That way I can play defense, stop the Royal Giant, and then in turn create a counter push. That Miner activating King Tower once again. Great defense from Pain.
And that's the second time they've played Miner to the back for an easy King Tower activation, so you're going to wonder if they're just not concerned about it.
Yeah, a really frustrating rotation here for Cream. It seems like every time they look up is another Lumberjack Royal Giant coming in. They don't have enough time and enough elixir to get back to their Bomb Tower. That tower at 581 HP is just a couple lightnings away, Rich.
Although that's a huge lightning, and the Dark Prince still in pretty good health now. Miner to the back. A lot of damage coming on the left-hand side. This could be a massive shift in momentum here in the waning 30 seconds.
A very, very nice fireball coming from Pain. Now, Pain just needs to sit back, get a couple spells, or excuse me, sit back, get that Royal Giant in once again. Bomb Tower picks it up.
Bomb Tower picks it up. Royal Giant with that help from Lumberjack not going to make it all the way to Tower. Lumberjack so devastating to a Royal Giant. Here we go. And now it's Cream's turn trying to return the favor down to 134.
Yeah,
Fireball's in.
Fireball.
That's going to be it.
I was going to say there's got to be a lightning most likely in that last card. And we got to see the spell cycle coming. Great. From Pain Gaming.
They have Carnage and Wen, but first up, it's Surge TS up against Jose Brian.
And the Furnace, the ever-popular Furnace played early on by Jose Brian, and a very high lightning coming in from Surge TS to allow that Baby Dragon to get on that tower. It's plays like that that separate the amateurs from the pros, Rich. It's an efficient use of elixir to get just a couple belches in. That could be the deciding factor later on.
Very well could be, especially in King of the Hill, where it's always lowest single tower format. So we will see, and look at that. It's a P.E.K.K.A in the back in response to the Musketeer.
So Surge clearly sees something. He knows he can't be punished too intensely by playing that early on, and that's why. It's because he puts him on Graveyard and Ram Rider in the opposite lane. Here we go.
And nice pickup here, though. You got to wonder if there was a bit of baiting playing going on there to put that Ram Rider directly into the Barbarian.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough bit of defense for Surge to play. Lumberjack comes in doing a decent amount of work. Those two barbs will connect and get a good amount of damage in, but there's a lot going down the right-hand lane.
So Jose Brian out to a very early lead. Nice kite here of that remaining P.E.K.K.A. And here we are past the midway point, and the young star has done damage on both sides.
I mean, we're looking at a 9 elixir for 5 trade. A really, really great heads-up defense from Jose Brian, keeping him in the lead in elixir and in damage. I'm a little surprised at the early P.E.K.K.A in the back, honestly, Rich.
Yeah, a little surprised as well, and obviously it did not pay off the way that maybe Surge had imagined, had planned beforehand. Look, we still have plenty of Clash Royale left to be played in this particular game, but you're behind against a guy who can do a lot of damage in a very short amount of time right now with this Graveyard.
And once again, knowing that we're going into double elixir, I can imagine that this is going to be a very, very good Graveyard in the sense of just creating a lot of defense on the right-hand side, and it should be very easy for Jose to clean up, and then he could probably just send a Ram Rider down the left or the right, depending on how Surge defends.
So there we have it. Surge now putting together a pretty healthy push on that right-hand lane. And there now you see the Ram Rider not getting picked up by the Furnace. That's going to be a connection there in the left-hand lane.
Wow, very, very nice play from Surge there. Knowing that Jose had to stop that P.E.K.K.A. No one wants that Mama P.E.K.K.A to get even one swing on the tower.
And Jose Brian just choosing to eat all the damage there. And I've seen this from him before, playing in some of his regional tournaments down the Latin American region. He is willing to take damage on a tower, knowing he can return in kind.
And it paid off. There's 12 seconds left, and he's spell cycle range away. You get the poison in, you get the snowball in, and that is game, set, and match. Well, not match yet.
Game and set has to defend against this Ram Rider. Snowball in, puts the Furnace down, so he's in good place. You see the flex there. Jose Brian making his debut in style here in King of the Hill, taking out Surge TS to start things off.
And just eating a few of those Lumberjacks hits to add insult to injury, Rich.
I mean, does here against Jose Brian in Game 2 of King of the Hill.
And you kept mentioning the confidence behind Jose Brian, just taking the damage, knowing I'm fine, I'm cool, I eat 800 damage on my left tower because I'm about to take the right tower and take the game.
The young man is absolutely fearless. I watched him play in the Teton Cup where he ran through, if I remember correctly, it was in 4 consecutive matches. It was like Luke Dubs, Surge TS, Codigo. It was just a who's who of Latin America, and he did it over and over again. He was willing to take significant damage opposite lane and not worry about that, knowing he could get back in the game late.
And now we have Carnage playing a P.E.K.K.A up high and Jose Brian playing the Ram Rider in the left-hand lane again.
So Jose Brian switching things up from the graveyard to copy what his opponent did last game. Maybe a little bit of a psychological BM going with the Ram Rider deck. And here we go with a pretty standard P.E.K.K.A Ewiz bridge spam from Carnage.
And a very nice kite with that barb. Look at that. The bar barrel pulls the P.E.K.K.A all the way across. And even Carnage is recognizing that that was quite the use of mechanics. Now he's saying good luck. I'm saying great play.
Yeah, luck had nothing to do with that. That was just brilliant timing and placement. And again, it's the mechanics of Jose Brian that are so clean. If you want to watch how to do this stuff right, watch this kid play.
Wow, and that Bandit getting on top of Carnage's Bandit once again. Very, very great plays. And you would want to call it luck, but luck just doesn't happen over and over and over like that.
Here we are, passing a minute and a half in regulation, and right now, it again seems to be the young standout Jose Brian for Cream Esports, really in control of this match.
And this is where Jose Brian's defense is really going to come into play. I mean, Carnage may try the battle ram behind the P.E.K.K.A to get through once Jose Brian's P.E.K.K.A is lashed onto his or targeted onto his.
And picks up the bar barrel with the Royal Ghost in the back, and it might be able to sneak through here. Does it take? Yeah, unfortunately, it does take one P.E.K.K.A shot, and now we go Ram in that lane. And Battle Ram.
There's no defense on the right, Rich. There's nothing there to pick this up. Those minions will connect. That's going to be a decent amount of damage coming down for Carnage.
Nice giant snowball, though, does prevent the connection. That could have been a whole lot worse. And here we are in double elixir time, and things pretty much all tied up.
And Jose Brian barely missing the dash there from the Bandit. Not the end of the world, but it would have been nice.
And that's quite a lot of damage for very little elixir in the right-hand lane, down to 14-21. Carnage now choosing to eat a lot, and there you go. It's Jose Brian taking advantage of that opening, throwing the Ram Rider with the minion support down the lane. Does not get the connection, though.
No, he does not, and now he's got a massive push coming down both lanes. Where is Jose going to play defense? It's got to be the right, but that's another connection. Excuse me, the first one wasn't a connection, but those barbs did get on the tower, and that is devastating.
Yeah, that is a lot of damage, down to 306, 279, 252. So now we're getting to a point where he's within Zap Poison range.
He really is. Now we just need a quick cycle, play smart defense. The P.E.K.K.A comes down to catch that Ram Rider. P.E.K.K.A up top, just play your cheap cards, Carnage, and get the spells out.
You have to imagine that Carnage has this one pretty well locked up here. Royal Ghost coming down in support of the defense. That Ram Rider does get kind of a shocking connection, but there you see Poison down, Zap down, a little BM, and Carnage gets one back for Pain Gaming.
We are all even in King of the Hill. I mean, he did such a great job that last game, playing a very classic P.E.K.K.A bridge spam, and you saw that Jose just overextended a little bit and was left wanting on defense when that battle ram connected in the when the battle ram came down with the minions behind it. That battle ram not connecting allowed those minions to get a lot of damage in on that tower.
And here you go. Looks like Carnage just running it back. You know, he had success one time. Why not do it again?
Wow, Rich. Oh my gosh, that's tower down on the right-hand side.
Okay. That's a massive P.E.K.K.A push on the right-hand side for Diego E, and he's fighting from behind early on.
And then he drops a minion, or excuse me, a bandit right into the P.E.K.K.A, leaving it basically useless.
Wow, this is a kind of crazy turn of events here, and you see Carnage going, yeah, dude, well played. I know, it's over.
Why? I mean, you and I have talked about this many, many times just in our friendship with P.E.K.K.A's in the back, Golems in the back, Lava Hounds in the back very early on. It's happened a couple times now, and every time it's happened, it hasn't paid off well for that player.
Yeah, although on the other side, you had that very aggressive P.E.K.K.A from Carnage. So, you know, it's who knows what's going on. This is CRL West. This is Season 2. All bets are off at this stage.
Carnage sees Diego drop the P.E.K.K.A in the back on the left-hand side. He knows he can go P.E.K.K.A minions at the river on the right-hand side, and as you saw, there's just nothing there to defend. Once again, P.E.K.K.A in the back, fine. I'll drop a bandit in the middle, get a charge in and a couple hits. and now he's got the damage lead again on the left-hand side.
Really, really fascinating. And again, this is Diego E's first time inside of the big lights of CRL, and you have to wonder if the pressure's just cooking him.
Yeah, and you know, Diego E is known for being a control player. He is not in control right now. He's a tower down playing into Carnage, who is on a streak at the moment.
Heading into double elixir time, and Carnage, you thought this guy was going to be playing Dex for a tie? No way, he's going for blood right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Pekka at the river with the minions, as you said. That is definitely going for blood, Rich.
Ram Rider not going to get through, and yeah, now we expect maybe the BMs will flow a little bit faster here from Carnage, who, again, we talked about this at the top of the show. This is a guy who, yeah, he's just going to, yeah, well played, well played. This is a guy who wanted to prove he belongs to this level. He felt a little bit left out in the cold last season despite winning a world championship, and he wants to use this as an opportunity to show that he is one of the best. And not just on ladder, but here in competitive play.
Yeah, I mean, CRL Finals #1, Global Tournament #1, ladder #2. This guy knows exactly what he's doing. And honestly, I love the BMs. I love getting your opponent's head on the big stage, and you know someone with as much experience as Carnage, he knows it's getting to Diego, and Diego has nothing to do but honestly put down his tablet, his phone, and walk away.
And Carnage told me this was his favorite emote, so the goblin over and over and over again. Carnage now 2.
The other thing is that Carnage probably knows everything that you need to do to beat Icebo, because he's lost in every way possible with Icebo, and we're seeing an Ice Golem and a Mega Minion. Both those cards are in Icebo, Rich. And not bats.
Not bats, not bats. So we've taken a left turn at the traffic light here, and Dark Prince in the back as well. So Miner right behind the King Tower, maybe just a cycle Miner here at this point. Or possibly was that a misplay?
I'm not sure. It's probably just a cycle to maybe meet the Knight, or excuse me, the Prince. Might be seeing some sort of order deck here.
So it's probably Giant Double Prince with Miner at this point.
Yes, definitely from Lindsay.
And you know, for being as Expo, that's a really annoying deck to play against because you have 3 really tanky troops that can all pick up your Expo. So maybe trying to put his opponent on Expo at some point.
Wow, and the Inferno Tower comes in just in time. That Miner's coming to stop the... Honestly, the Miner could have been played a little higher to keep the bats alive, but not really that big of a difference maker.
So it looks like Miner Rascal's Loon from Carnage. At least has a lot of the pieces of that deck right now.
And this is the moment where Lindsay is just going to keep his foot on the gas pedal. But the thing is, if Carnage can defend effectively, he will find himself an advantage, but he's still 3 elixir behind.
So here we are, halfway through regulation time, and 3 elixir behind, and a little tower damage behind as well is Carnage. And now he's just, I think he finally learned where the well played button is. Oh no, that's his favorite button to play.
Right. That and the Goblin sticking his tongue out. Now, the thing that's so dangerous about this Giant Double Prince deck is if you find yourself wanting for elixir, they can just keep spamming the river on either side, and eventually, you can't keep up with it. You just can't. There's too much health behind both the Princes and the Giant. Very, very curious to see what Carnage is planning on doing to end up getting through to these towers, other than just a Miner in.
And tries to pick up the Miner, misses the pickup there with the Barb Barrel, so a lot of damage there. And now we're going with the balloon push on the left-hand side.
Yep. This deck was very, very popular for a moment in GCs and a ladder. It's still popular, but just not quite as much as it was maybe like a few weeks ago.
That zap was almost brilliant. Retargeted the Musketeer to the Miner, but the Fireball came in just in time to stop that balloon. A great play offensively from Carnage, and even better defense from Lindsay.
So we've got Giant Double Prince here against the Miner Loon variant, and it's going to be, I mean, if you look at the bottom of your screen here, Lindsay's got 2 units to defend air. That zap coming in to retarget onto the Miner could be his way of breaking through, but this is a huge push coming down the left-hand lane.
Gets the Barb Barrel to the back to take care of the Musketeer, and the Miner comes in onto the Inferno Tower.
A great zap to retarget that tower onto the Miner, and that Giant is a very healthy Giant on the tower. This is very dangerous.
Gonna be down under 700 down. Wow, that's so many swings from the Giant. We are in sudden death overtime, and Carnage has his back against the wall.
Yeah, and Lindsay just gonna keep the pressure up on that left-hand lane. Carnage has got to create pressure on the right to stop this push.
Miner to the back here for Lindsay as the Blues come to their side. Fireball down and a nice retarget. Giant snowball retargets the Miner onto the King Tower. That is super helpful right now. And at 263 though, with the Fireball and Zap, it's just a little bit too late.
Absolutely. Lindsay here going to be evening things up, going to our final game of King of the Hill. Unless something crazy happens. There it is. Lindsay taking Carnage out. Carnage saying, "You got lucky, brother." But Lindsay,
what their bread and butter is.
Yeah, and it's, the funniest thing here is their favorite deck is the Icepo, and their favorite competitive deck is the Sparky Goblin Giant. So I can't wait to see if they play either of these. The early Furnace, though, tells us no on both accounts. So probably Royal Giant at the top here from Wen. And maybe Bridge Spam on the bottom, who knows? Only 2 cards in.
Nice little bit of value there for the Poison. Not going to eat, oh no, he is going to eat some of the damage, I believe, from, no, now he has the Bandit down. Gonna get nothing, so that was perfectly timed Poison there against that Furnace, and we are down to through our first minute, and Musketeer coming up to meet the Baby Dragon, and a Lightning just wipes her off the board.
And the Mega Knight comes down just a second late in the sense of the Baby Dragon connecting to the tower, but that is a very healthy Mega Knight coming down the lane for Lindsay. And the jump on the Furnace, you don't ever want that.
MK gets to Furnace, and oh, look at this. Might get a King Tower activation. No, played it just a half step early there, maybe.
That
ram to tower.
Sorry, a devastating misplay. That ram is very healthy and on the tower.
So a little bit of a flash there from Wen trying to go for the King Tower activation. Not only does he play it too early, but he eats that huge damage from the Ram Rider.
All evened up in Elixir here. Always feels good when you can catch a Bandit with a bar barrel. I am horrible at it.
Yeah, I miss that all the time. It's such a frustrating play. Just a half step off. And here we go, passing the midway point, and right now it is still Lindsay in the lead, but not by a ton. His left-hand tower down to 1695. Again, he needs a win here to keep his team going into 1v1. Wen can close things out for Pain Gaming here in the next few minutes.
Lindsay playing the Mega Knight in the back, knowing it's going to meet the Royal Giant right at the river, trying to tank for all the DPS units behind it. Now, the interesting thing here is how is he going to turn this defense into a strong offense, and the Inferno Dragon comes down.
That's going to be really tough here for Wen to find any way through now.
A very nice Lightning, though.
So well cleaned up are those support troops. Does not get the push onto tower. And we're going to reset here as we move into our final minute and double Elixir time.
Both these guys playing so incredibly efficiently with their Elixir. Less than half an Elixir leak on both sides of the field. And that Poison coming in, just chipping away at the tower. I like that RG to catch the Bandit dash, keeping the Furnace alive, even if just for a half second longer.
And this would be so frustrating, though. The Ram Rider really slowing down that Royal Giant with the Musketeer in support, getting pretty much nothing there. So now about 500 plus HP separate these two players, but Lindsay seems to be in a pretty good spot so far.
Yeah, you'd think that Lindsay wouldn't be in a great position because he doesn't have a building, but his ability to use the Ram Rider to stop that Royal Giant is really excellent play. And again, it creates a counter push, which a building does not do for you. So now Wen is continued to be able to, he's forced to have to continue to use his Lightning on defense.
And that's a lot of damage there on the towers. We're down to 786 now. We are in sudden death overtime and cycling. Royal Giant in the back, preparing, giving himself enough time to build up tons of Elixir to get back in this thing is Wen. The question is, does he have enough in the tank to overcome this deficit?
And here's the thing, every time he plays the Furnace, it is in a poisonable range, but if that RG connects once and is not getting hit by the high DPS units from Lindsay, it's game over real quick. But right here, as you can see, strong defense, a moderately healthy Mega Knight coming down, and you think a Poison has got to come down very soon as well.
You know, Wen was really, really hoping he could get that one Royal Giant on tower. Poison down, he called it perfectly there, Andrew. And that's a really high-value Poison, getting tower, Furnace, E-Wiz, and guards all at once. This looks like it's Lintz's game to win here.
And that one Musketeer hit is devastating, Rich. And the Barb hit. Now this is game over. I don't know how you allow that Barb to connect right there. Snowball and Poison end it. This is a quick game. Lindsay keeping Cream alive.
And we are going to be heading to 1v1. Unbelievable performance. Lindsay coming back and getting... go. Getting into our 1v1 set, Lindsay versus Wen. And look, both of these players do like Icebo. Will we see one of them play it at some point here today?
An early Tombstone tells us no, Rich, and the Battle Ram coming in. So we're looking at probably Graveyard at the top of your screen from Wen, or excuse you said, you know, the new iteration of Splash Yard. Bottom of your screen, a Prince and a Battle Ram.
Dark Prince really has been sort of the big winner of the last update. It's appeared in so many decks, and it gives you a lot of versatility, both in a situation like this, where you can put Graveyard behind it as that tank for the Splash Yard deck. We're going to see a Tornado here at some point. But also, you know, you've seen it come up now in Golem decks, where suddenly it gives you the ability to throw opposite lane pressure, but still support your Golem.
And then if you are behind the Golem, none of those big spells are it's gonna be a waste on the Dark Prince, whether it's Lightning, Rocket, Fireball, anything. That shield soaks up that damage.
Exactly. Oh, Musketeer gets on tower, and that's gonna be 3, maybe 4 shots here. Wow. A lot of damage early on for Lince.
Yeah, and you know, when really anyone playing a Graveyard deck is you basically just got to play as best defense as you can until you get into double or elixir time, because if you overcommit with an early Graveyard, it leaves you wanting on defense almost 9 times out of 10.
And this is such a fun bridge spam variant that Lindsay is playing here between, because it's faster, right? You know, throwing that Prince, wow!
The freeze!
not what I saw coming in that moment, so we'll see what Wen's planning to do with this freeze. I mean, you still feel like, it still feels like it's a Graveyard deck.
It has to be, yeah. I just think that there's probably not going to be the NATO then, or maybe it's going to be triple, well, not triple spell because of the bar barrel, but it feels like a spell.
The bar barrel's a spell, come on. But nothing's going to stop that Musketeer and a Bandit charge, and there is a NATO there as well to activate King Tower.
But wow, that Musketeer just keeps ticking away at that left-hand tower, now below 1,000 HP. Wen has got to play stellar defense for the rest of this game.
But we've said this a million times before on CRL, Andrew. The thing about a Graveyard deck is, especially now that we know it's Graveyard Freeze, it can steal a game from you in the blink of an eye. So
Lindsay is going to do his best job to stop everything at the river. The last thing you want is something to cross that bridge and tank for that Graveyard. And if nothing ever gets across, Wen can't drop a Graveyard. You just can't drop a naked Graveyard.
And there's some pretty solid value out of the first Musketeer and the second, so Lindsay doing a good job keeping it down, and I like the Ice Golem play here in front. Protect your Musketeers.
That's right. Very, very heads-up play, and as you're talking about the most recent buffs to cards, the Musketeer got a very, very nice one, and keeping her alive, very important.
So some dual lane pressure here for Lindsay. A nice Tornado to pull it all together. Ice Wiz NATO, we thought you were gone. Just when I thought it was safe to go in the water, Ice Wiz NATO comes back with a vengeance this month.
I mean, Ice Wiz NATO, Baby Dragon Tombstone is one of the most powerful defensive combinations in the game. Almost impossible to break through. However, Lindsay doing a great job. I mean, Wen has not played his win condition yet, Rich.
Not one time. Now, look, he might be trying to find a moment here, but I just don't know with the speed of this particular spam variation if he's gonna find that moment.
He keeps doing it. He keeps stopping everything in the river, and then I love the dual lane aggression from Lindsay, making it so that Wen has to spend just enough elixir in the right or left-hand lane, the opposite lane, not being able to drop the Graveyard. You see it once again with the Battle Ram, and that will connect.
Yeah, Tombstone too far inside, so now he's in trouble on both sides is the Brazilian Wen. In a minute into our overtime period, and he is really on his back foot, and now we get our first big Graveyard.
We got to imagine the Graveyard's going to come in, the freeze has to come in. It's kind of do or die at this moment. There's the freeze. Will he be able to connect? The snowball comes in late.
And that's a big connection from the Dark Prince. So, look, 1547 isn't as much as he would have liked from that push, but he still isn't in spell cycle range yet necessarily. So Wen in this game for the moment.
Lindsay doing a great job, as I said before, keeping up that pressure, just asking enough out of Wen's elixir on defense. And this is where it starts to get really dangerous, Rich.
Graveyard freeze one more time.
Baby Dragon
down
on the tower.
Baby Dragon, Baby Dragon.
Wow, we are so close to even Wen keeping his cool. And honestly, Lindsay, this dual lane aggression now getting stopped by the Tombstone. He should be using something else, I think. The Battle Ram is too easily counterable for a negative elixir trade every time.
And now he chooses to go same lane here. Prince picks up the Baby Dragon aggro, keeping that Musketeer very healthy Fireball down. And now we're at a point where Wen is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, this is a very, very dangerous game. The Bandit coming in, a lot of pressure. What's he gonna do to catch the Bandit? Nothing. That is gonna be it.
Wow! Perfect timing. The Well, we do see the Ice Wizard, although coming up with Zap as his second card. Not playing Ice Bow.
Yeah, most likely not playing Ice Bow. We see the Lumberjack coming
Certainly
down.
not with a Lumberjack. So here we go, Lindsay showing early signs of Royal Giant.
Could even be, okay, all right.
All right.
Aggressive balloon.
Very, very aggressive balloon, and picked up nicely by the Furnace.
A very fortunate drop there on the Furnace, taking it out of play.
So when playing a really interesting combination here with the Lumberloon mixed in with the defensive utility of the Ice Winds.
And the Lumberloon deck is so frustrating to play against because if you're playing against it, you can get yourself caught playing offense or defense too aggressively on one side of the map. And then on the other side, a Lumberjack and a Loon comes in and you've just lost your tower in 2 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. Now think about this for a second. With the, wow, the P.E.K.K.A, the Lumberjack, and the Ice Wiz, he had to think that when, unless he was facing against something he didn't expect at all, like maybe Lava Hound,
right,
he was feeling like he could use this deck to draw pretty much against anything, and then potentially, wow!
That is huge. That's tower down, Rich. I was going to say, oh, wow. Even better Lumberjack coming in from Lindsay to stop that, but I did not like the Lightning. I felt it was a little bit aggressive. Maybe he didn't have a better option, but that hurts.
Lumberjack, Balloon, Freeze, P.E.K.K.A, Ice Wiz.
Right. Should have predicted it.
Yeah, totally. And Lindsay just smack dab in the middle of the meta, choosing to go with the Lumberjack variant over the Guards variant here with his Royal Giant deck.
Yeah, very, very interesting deck here from Gwen, but I love it. I love these off-meta decks, Rich. I really do.
You know, you got to think again. What I was saying before we had that big moment was that it feels like this is a deck that Gwen knew he could draw if he needed to with this deck, but still has that boom power that can really take a game on.
Yeah, because the defensive capabilities of that deck are massive with the Freeze, with the P.E.K.K.A, with the Ice Wizard. You can stop anything on the ground or in the air. Interesting, NATO.
A somewhat ill-timed NATO, you might say, because now does not have it available for this Royal Giant. That's going to be a couple of shots here. Lumberjack will melt the RG, but not quite in time. And with the Lightning in, that's a lot of damage that Gwen probably didn't need to eat.
Yeah, really, really nice Lightning coming in, catching the 2 units, the Ice Wiz and the Lumberjack, and of course the tower, kind of slowing things down when decides to play the P.E.K.K.A in the back.
And that's a lot of Fire Spirit damage there. 2 Furnaces get 3 of them onto the P.E.K.K.A and the tower. So again, a couple pieces of damage that you really have to feel like Gwen could have avoided.
And where I was just going to say, if you get all that together and freeze it, that balloon is very healthy coming in. You need to stop it. The death damage, though, you really want to avoid it. And wow, just 1 tile away.
1 tile off, and Lindsay's doing a great job with the Furnaces right now, really clogging up the lane, and kind of, we've already seen, forcing some unexpected damage here on his opponent's tower.
Yeah, those Furnaces are so menacing, so much damage. He's going to take out the Mega Minion.
4 Fire Spirits, that is so unbelievably frustrating.
And you know that another Furnace is going to come out within the next 5 seconds, which is just, I mean, well, maybe not because of the P.E.K.K.A here. The Freeze, wow, that Freeze is, he is playing it masterfully.
Yeah, that's a beautiful defensive freeze, right? You know, you think you gotta save that for your balloon, but that freeze might have been what saved the game. But that would have been a couple of RG shots if he hadn't done it in that moment.
Oh, this is real scary. The balloon's gonna sneak through. The P.E.K.K.A's taking for the balloon. Lumberjack on the tower. This could be it. Ooh.
Does not quite get the full drop, but down to 116. Now again, there's no big spell here to close it out with a single shot, but freeze and zap will get him close, but again, not quite.
Yeah, not quite. He's got to cycle around his cheapest cards as fast as possible for that Mama P.E.K.K.A. I mean, the Mama P.E.K.K.A is going to be clogging up all of the offensive capabilities of Lindsay here.
And double zap won't do it either, so you see just continuing to play here at the bridge and not get maybe over-aggressive trying to cycle spells on tower right now.
Only 6 Elixir in the hand of Gwen, though. What does he have to stop all this? I don't know if he has enough, Rich. Lightning comes in. 2 shots from the RG. Oh, wow, that NATO just in time.
Such a massive NATO, and wait a second, Lumberjack E-Wiz in just enough time, but down to 60 HP.
The zap comes in, a freeze and a zap ends this game for Gwen.
And again, it's crazy because Zap can't do it by himself.
Royal Giant coming in, aggressive plays here. NATO comes to pull it back. He can't let that RG connect because of Lightning with the RG. 1 shot, Lightning coming in. This is gonna, oh my goodness.
We're at 6. We are separated by 3 HP.
We need oh my gosh!
What? I am completely...
I'm sweating, okay? My heart rate's through the roof.
Here we go. Wen, top of your screen. Lindsay at the bottom, and this one will decide it all. One of these teams walks home with their opening victory of CRL West. The other has to go back to the drawing board and figure out what they can do better next time.
And you know these guys are playing for more than just that first win. There's so much pride on the line for these two teams.
Not to mention a trip all the way to Xi'an, China in July. So I know I'd love to go to China. I know they'd love to go to China.
And the Princes meet right on the other side, or Lindsay's side of the river. Mega Minion comes in to clean everything up. Looking like that new iteration of Splash Yard at the top from Wen.
And Prince just barely staying alive, tanked for by the Mega Minion. It will go down, but don't often you see a Mega Minion just keeping a one-shot Prince alive that long.
Yep. And at the bottom of your screen, most likely a, what, RG? I've even seen weird Golem decks with most of these cards in it, honestly.
Prince is so versatile, it can fit into so many, and again, Prince and Dark Prince both, you're kind of finding them move all over the place. You've seen Prince now, and with the Lightning, does start to feel like we're moving towards a full big beatdown deck. But you see Prince now, you see it coming up in minor poison decks, you see it coming up in that graveyard double Prince deck, you see it of course coming up as beatdown support, you see it in bridge spam, and this is, we're talking about both Prince and Dark Prince.
Lindsay trying to figure out his plan of attack. Now, Wen going in with the Barbara on the left, maybe as a distraction. Lindsay's not biting.
We'll get 2 swings there, so nice little chip damage for Wen. We are about to enter into double elixir time, so we might see the pace pick up here in this next minute.
Yep, and there's the graveyard coming in, a very, very aggressive graveyard. Those guards are going to make very easy work of it, though.
So then the poison late here just to pick up those defensive troops.
There it is.
So there we go. There goes the Golem.
And the reason we say Golem over RG here is you see the Prince and the Baby Dragon, the Mega Minion, those couple so well. And with those those quick cycle cards, it makes it so it's harder to get punished early on.
And knowing that Wen likes to play a little fast here, you can see the reason he's going in this direction. And here we are, final 30 seconds of regulation, and that's a pretty hefty Lightning. I don't think we're going to see, and there you go, second Tombstone down. And will it pull the second Golemite over to that tower? We're going to see here in a second.
Very aggressive Golem at the river, but it's keeping Wen from being able to bar barrel graveyard in the opposite lane, which is what you want to do, right? You want to keep up as much pressure as you can against the Golem player to keep them from really stacking a lot of units behind. But as you see,
entering the sudden death overtime, it really is a very fascinating match so far. The rhythm starting to develop here, and it seemed like Wen was going to take advantage of some big moments, but now that we have that chance, and with how quick Lindsay can get back to Golems, things are really starting to move in his favor.
And those Lightnings are really, really starting to hurt, getting down to 946 HP. Just having to spend all of his elixir on defense is when, and there's the Bar Barrel Graveyard that I talked about, but those guards are such a nuisance, Rich.
And here's the other part about it is that Wen doesn't quite feel confident enough to be throwing poison in support of that graveyard quite yet, because he doesn't want to add in another 4 elixir he cannot use to respond to this quick cycling Golem deck.
Exactly. He wants to use the poison right here, right? He wants to take out the Tombstone, he wants to take out the Ice Wiz, he wants to take out all the defensive units that are going to be right there, but very, very high plays on these defensive units to keep that Lightning off the tower.
So here we are, 1 minute down in overtime, and the Ice Wiz still getting in there, doing its best to keep this damage off tower, and a beautiful nado to the opposite lane.
You take a look at your screen, these two gentlemen are laser focused, everything on the line for their teams. This is a lowest tower situation, Rich, and Lindsay has a commanding lead.
And now I wonder if we're going to see Wen go opposite lane. He has a lot down defensively to stop this Golem push, and then he just chooses to double up on that Ice Wiz, knowing the first one's going to shoot up there at the bridge.
And I was just going to say that is not where you want to play your Ice Wiz, because it is, again, giving Lightning value to Lindsay. It does feel like he's got this in the bag. So much on the field right now, and only a Baby Dragon to stop. Snowball comes in. Whew.
And you still see here, Lindsay is ahead on elixirs. It's going to be really hard for Wen to get back in. Now, this is game 3, so this is lowest single tower at this point. So Wen cannot play for a draw here.
Yeah, and he's having a really hard time deciding what to do. I mean, he can't go bar barrel graveyard, so he goes naked graveyard. Guards are still going to come in. It's just nothing he can do. Now, the Barbarian may get to the tower, but that's not enough damage, Rich.
You know, that's a question of, at that moment, was that the time to try to go all in with the poison, knowing there's so much commitment in the right-hand lane?
Ooh, and there it is. That's it. We're a lightning away.
We are a lightning away, and that's it. There you go.
Wow.
Lindsay closes this thing out for Cream Esports. Welcome back, and our second match of the day features two squads with quite a bit of questions to answer on one side, Tribe Gaming, facing off against a completely reworked